going to have an amazing cold throw when it's hard, and you can just like smell it right out of the container that it's in. But once you light it... Hi, my name is Chimera. If you don't already know me, I'm an artist and a candle maker who has a small business called Shimmering Studio. And today I want to go over how to make candles with essential oils. And I know I've already made 2 other how-tos on candles, but the first one was a vlog form. The second one was a step-by-step guide with fragrance oils, and this time I want to get more specific in detail with essential oils and how you can use them in your candle making if you're mixing them with fragrance and essential oils. I will say that this tutorial may feel a little more advanced if this is your first time making candles. So if it's your first time, I do recommend watching my how-to for beginners. It's a step-by-step process using a double boiler and kind of going over how to make a holiday candle. In this one, we will be using wax melting pot and just kind of going over more of the pros and cons, how to use essential oils, percentage, and all of that. We're going to get a little more into detail on it and talk about its benefits as well and how you can use them. So as we get started, let's make sure that our work area is nice and clean. We want to make sure that we have all of our tools. Let's go ahead and fill our wax melting pot, and we're going to set it to 185 degrees. It only takes about 5 minutes to melt. So while that is melting, we're going to go ahead and mix our fragrance with essential oils. For this video, we are only working with an 8-ounce wax in order to calculate how much we will be using for our fragrances and essential oils. If you are someone who wants to play around with the fragrance load and you don't need help calculating how much you should be adding into your wax, I will leave some links below of some places where you can calculate how much fragrance load you should add to your wax, and I do highly recommend checking those out. I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave like Makesees and Candle Science because those were the places that I went to when I was first starting. You can use ChatGPT, but I will say with ChatGPT, it could give you incorrect numbers because you're going to need to be very specific on what you're asking for. You're going to need to do some math as well. So you're going to need to double check the math on ChatGPT and just make sure that you're following all the steps that you can take in order to make sure that you're making a safe candle to light later. So because we're working with an 8-ounce wax, we want to do 8% fragrance load. Like I think from the very, very beginning, a long, long time ago, they used to add maybe 3 to up to 7% fragrance loads. And then as time went on, we started getting higher with our fragrance loads. More is not better. It's better to be safe than sorry. Find a percentage that works well for you and keep moving forward with that. For this example, this is not my recipe, but I want to add 10% essential oil into that 8% fragrance load. So if the 8% fragrance load for 8-ounce wax is 0.64 ounces, then we're going to want to add 0.064 ounces of essential oils as the 10% that we're adding into the fragrance load. I hope that makes sense, and I hope whatever I'm doing on the side here also makes sense for you. If you're playing around with your fragrance loads, feel free to click on those links below and they will help you out. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but if you feel like this is a lot of information that you're gonna need to like jot down information on, don't worry, I got you. Just go down in the description box below and I will leave a link to my blog that specifically talks about adding essential oils to your candles when making them. So feel free to click on it at any point in time in order to help you with your candle making journey. Anyway, let's keep going. Now that we've mixed our fragrance oils with essential oils, check on our pot. It's at 185 degrees now. We're going to pour that into our containers. We're going to make sure that we fill up our container to 8 ounces of wax. And then we're going to wait until the wax cools to about 175 degrees. I prefer to wait anywhere between 170 to 180. The reason for this is because we want all that fragrance that we just mixed together to really hold in the wax once it's hardened, cured, and it's ready to light. We're gonna wait until it hits 175. Pour our fragrances in, mix for 2 to 3 minutes. Make sure that you're pouring your fragrances kind of slow. We don't want air bubbles so that we don't have to deal with air bubbles later. Same with stirring. Don't stir too fast because we don't want to create a higher chance of air pockets in our candles later. Once we've mixed everything, put it to the side and let it cool until it hits about 135 degrees. It's going to take about 5 minutes to get to that point. So just double check after 5 minutes or a couple minutes. Now that we poured it, you want to grab that popsicle stick and center it and make sure that it's all nice and tight. If you're unsure if this is your first time, but not really first time of making a candle, but you know that the wicks matter for the vessels that you're using, just know that for this tin size, this 3.54 ounce tin, it can take an equal wick of 8. And if you don't have that, if you have a cotton wick, that's fine too. Just keep in mind that tunneling might occur, and if tunneling occurs, just grab some foil or something to like concave it, and it will eventually reshape itself. These are things that you're going to want to have to play with and work through. If you don't have the popsicle stick, that's okay. Just let it start to cool, and right before it starts to really harden, you want to move that wick and center it into the middle. I've seen people do it before. I think it's pretty cool, but knowing me, because I like to walk away, just use a popsicle stick if you have one. Fun fact, if you're working with a tin vessel, you can cover it with foil in order to give it more even hardening, curing process so that it's not distributing the weight in all funky places. That's an optional thing that you can do. Once it's starting to harden, we're going to want to poke some holes in our soy wax and then re-solidify in order to make sure that we've gotten out all of our air pockets so that you don't have to worry about it later. Once we've done all of that, then you're going to want to let it sit for 24 to 48 hours before lighting it. But because we are working with soy wax, we are going to want to wait at least until 2 weeks before we decide to actually light the candle. And this will give it time to really cure and have all of the scents and fragrances and aromas really like meld in together so that we get a really nice candle. Now that we've completed our candles, I do want to talk about the essential oil. So we're going to want to ignore the fact that we're talking about like fragrances right now. We're just talking about essential oils. Essential oils are natural, they're eco-friendly, it improves air quality, and they're really good for aromatherapy, well-being, boosting your energy, right? But when you put it into a candle, keep in mind that because it is more natural, the scent is not as strong when it's going to be lit in a candle. So if it's just an essential oil candle, it's going to have an amazing cold throw when it's hard, and you can just like smell it right out of the container that it's in. But once you light it, you might not smell it all that much. So you're gonna want to work around that if you're only working with essential oils, and kind of see, you know, what works best for you if you just want to do essential oils, or if you want to start mixing it with the fragrances. If you get migraines and headaches, yes, essential oil candles are fantastic. You get to enjoy it when it's cold and you know you can smell it, and then when it's hot you're not going to get the migraine because the scent's not really there and it's not really all that strong with all the chemicals and stuff. Because I like to mix mine with fragrance and essential oils, you will need to play around with the percentage of like how much essential oil to fragrance you're going to want to do. Like I said, because of this tutorial example, I'm only working with 10% essential oil and an 8% fragrance load. You can do more or less, and of course the more you add, the less likely you're to get a migraine, but you are going to be diluting that fragrance in a way that's going to make it not so strong, but you're definitely still going to be able to enjoy the fragrance of the candle. That's why I don't want to give away my recipe, but I have been able to work around it and figure out like a solution so that it's not so overwhelming, but you can definitely smell it and it smells really nice. I do also want to mention that when you're sourcing your essential oils, that you're getting it from a place that is, you know, giving you essential oils that are safe, that they're pure, and that they are good to work with in candles. You're going to have places that you can look into like the Flaming Candle, Candle Science, Makesy's, I believe, also does that too. I think if you are someone who's just really good at making candles but you don't have a business and you're just looking for something fun to do right now, Amazon is pretty good too. You can definitely look and get some supplies off of there as well, and it'll be just like a perfect 4-ounce thing for you to work with while you're making your candles. And the last thing that I want to say is that if this was a lot of information to take in and this might be a bigger project for you to handle, but you really want to enjoy a candle that has essential oils in it mixed with the fragrances, you're more than welcome to check out my shop. Almost all of my candles on there are mixed with essential oils, and I do have a few that are just fragrances right now, but that's mainly in like the holiday section. My year-round candles are all mixed with essential oils. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you have a comment or a question or just want to chat about something candle related, feel free to leave a comment down below. I hope this was helpful, and I can't wait to see you next time.